What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another week of top 5 overpowered guns, and in this one we got something good. And to start off the list, this is a gun that is highly requested from a lot of you guys for me to make a class for, and I tried to make it good for Warzone and multiplayer, and that is the Kilo 141. So the first thing you want to run on this class is the laser tac laser. This gives you ADS speed, it gives you aiming stability, and it gives you aim walking steadiness. And the only disadvantage to this attachment is the fact that your laser is visible when you're aiming down sight. After that, you want to go ahead and move on to the stock, and that is going to be no stock. Now, this might not be great for Warzone, so if you are playing between multiplayer and Warzone, I suggest you switch this one out and maybe throw on the monolithic suppressor instead of no stock, and on multiplayer, go ahead and throw on no stock. This gives you ADS speed, and it gives you movement speed, which is something you definitely need in multiplayer more than Warzone, and it does take away some aiming stability and recoil control. The underbarrel is going to be the Commando foregrip for that recoil stabilization and aiming stability. Now, the Kilo 141 is already pretty accurate, so you don't have to worry about the recoil all too much. Now, it does take away some movement speed, but we have the no stock to kind of counter that, so you don't have to worry about that either. The ammunition is going to be the 60 round mags. You don't want to be reloading a gun, especially in Warzone, when it's going to take you about half a mag just to kill one dude. You don't want to sit there reloading over and over again. And the final attachment is the rear grip stippled grip tape, which gives you ADS speed and sprint to fire speed, which is probably the most important attachment you could have in the game. Anything with sprint to fire speed is amazing, and it does take away some aiming stability, but you don't have to worry about it. Like I said, the Kilo 141 is super accurate. Going down to number 2 on the list, guys, we got the GRA 5.56, and this is a class I've given you guys before, but I modified it a little bit just so it could be good for both game modes. This is going to be good for Warzone, and it's going to be good for multiplayer, so you guys don't have to sit there and always change your classes. I don't get why they don't actually just give you a different class option for Warzone instead of having to use your multiplayer classes. But whatever, we're going to get into this class. The first thing you want to run on the GRA is the barrel FFS 20.8 inch Nexus, or you could even run the 26 inch barrel if you want that extra range for Warzone. This gives you damage range, gives you bullet velocity, so that when you're actually shooting at someone's head at 100 meters out, you're hitting the head, and it gives you recoil control. It does take away some ADS speed, and it does take away some movement speed, but we all know the GRA is used for distance. ADS speed doesn't matter too much, and movement speed, you want to be sitting still so you could be even more accurate. Now, the laser for this gun, you're going to be running the tac laser. This is really good because you get some of that ADS speed that you did lose in case someone comes up to you up close. You get aiming stability, which really helps you hit those shots the further people are, and you get aim walking steadiness, so if you are moving left and right to be a harder target to hit at a distance, you will be a lot more accurate than the enemy. And the only thing is, your laser is visible when you're aiming down sights, which is something we don't have to worry all too much about. Now, the stock is going to be no stock. This gives you ADS speed, and it gives you movement speed, so you can run around really fast. You can aim down sights if someone does get up close and personal to you, but it does take away aiming stability and recoil control. But this is one of those guns where it doesn't matter if we lose that too much, because it's pretty accurate on its own, so that's not too bad. The ammunition, 100% 60 round mags. You definitely want that. And the last attachment here is an optional one. If you're playing multiplayer, the rear grip XRK Void 2 is great because you get ADS speed, and you get that super important sprint to fire speed, but you lose more recoil and aiming stability. But if you're playing Warzone, forget the rear grip and throw on the muzzle monolithic suppressor, so you could get sound suppression, no one can see where you're shooting from, and you get damage range, which really helps out a lot, and you don't lose that recoil and aiming stability. So that's really good in and on itself, but you do lose some ADS and aim walking steadiness. Speaking of the monolithic suppressor, man, we're gonna go to the M13, and this class right here, I highly suggest playing it on Warzone only, and maybe search and destroy if you're playing on bigger maps, but don't play it on like team deathmatch and stuff unless you're one of those people who could camp it out the whole entire game. The M13, the first thing you want to run is the muzzle monolithic suppressor. Like I just said, you want that sound suppression, so when you're shooting your gun, you're not seen on the map whatsoever, but you also want that damage range, so you could do way more damage the further people are. You lose ADS speed, and you lose aim walking steadiness, so try not to move around too much while shooting this gun. The barrel is the Tempest Marksman. This one is great because it gives you damage range once again. It gives you bullet velocity, so when you shoot those heads, you hit those heads and it gives you recoil control to make this gun feel even more of a laser than it already is. Now you lose ADS and movement speed again. This is why I say don't use it on multiplayer unless you're playing like search and destroy. Now the optic, again, you're going to be losing some ADS speed, but you want to run the GI Mini Reflex. It's the lightest one, so you don't lose too much ADS, but you still get a like clear picture of where people are, because I'm not a big fan of the M13 iron sight, so let's be honest. The underbarrel, you want to run the Ranger foregrip. This gives you recoil control and aiming stability. This gun is like probably one of the most accurate guns. This and the Grau are like the most accurate guns in the game. Now you do lose ADS once again, and this is definitely why you don't want to be using this gun in multiplayer. You just lose a crap ton of ADS speed. It's not worth it, and you also lose aim walking movement speed, so there's that as well. Now the last thing you want to run on this is the ammunition 60 round mags. Again, you're losing movement speed and you're losing ADS speed, so that's why this is a Warzone specific class. Now, but if you guys want to continue using the M13 on multiplayer, I suggest saving another class slot in order to be able to do that, and I'm going to give you a class, something I've never done before in a top 5. I'm going to give you guys the same exact weapon, but with all different attachments so you could use it in multiplayer. This is the M13 Mini SMG, I like to call it. It's a lot better than a lot of SMGs in the game, and you're going to be running really damn fast with this gun. So to make the Mini SMG of the M13, the first thing you want to throw on is the Barrel Tempest Mini. This gives you ADS speed, and it gives you movement speed as well. It does take away bullet velocity and recoil control, and the recoil is a little harder to control, but the M13 is pretty accurate to begin with. The optic is the Solo Zero Optics Mini Reflex. I find this one the best one when you're running the SMG version. It just feels more accurate. It feels like the recoil control isn't taken away all too much. The stock, you want to run no stock. Every time you want to make an AR into an SMG, no stock is what you need to run. You get ADS speed and you get movement speed, so that's really good, but it comes at the sacrifice of aiming stability and recoil control once again. So this gun's going to be a little harder on the recoil, a little harsh on that, I should say. Now what you want to run after this is going to be the underbarrel Ranger foregrip. You get the recoil control and aiming stability, and that is the only reason we're running this rather than commando foregrip or extra bullets or something. You want to have some sort of recoil control and aiming stability on your side, but this does take away some aim walk and movement speed, and it does take away some ADS speed, but still at the same time this gun is going to be aiming down sights fast. Now if you don't care about the recoil control and aiming stability, if you don't care that you lose it, go ahead and throw on the tac laser so you can aim down sights even faster, which is really nice. The tac laser gives you a bunch of stuff, including aiming stability, so you kind of get that as well. So if you don't care about the recoil control, go ahead and throw that on. And the last attachment for this before we get on to the final weapon, which is the MP5, we're gonna go ahead and throw on the rear grip stippled grip tape. And what I love about this one right here is that you get ADS speed and you get sprint to fire speed, and you only lose aiming stability for that, and I think it's really worth it. The sprint to fire speed is something you definitely want, especially when running the M13 Mini SMG version. You want to be able to fire as fast as you can, because you should be running around the map like crazy with this weapon. Now let's get on to that MP5 class, and this one I love because it's probably the greatest class I've made that works on Warzone and works on multiplayer. It literally works for both things, and that's what I love about it, and it's great no matter what you do with it. So the first thing you want to run is the muzzle monolithic suppressor. Now we're kind of gonna go and throw another attachment on that kind of counters this one a little bit, but you definitely want this for the damage range, and you definitely want it for the sound suppression, so you could start shooting at people up close and their teammates won't know where you're shooting from. You lose ADS and aim walking steadiness, but it's all worth it in my opinion. The barrel, this is the one that kind of contradicts the monolithic suppressor, and that is the FSS Mini. You get ADS speed and you get movement speed, but you are losing some bullet velocity and recoil control. So the bullet velocity, I mean, we get the damage range, but even if we're shooting at the head, we might not hit the head if they're like 50-60 meters out, so that kind of sucks. The stock is going to be the FTAC collapsible, which is pretty much the no stock. You get ADS speed, you get movement speed, you lose recoil control and aiming stability. The underbarrel is going to be the commando foregrip, so you could get some of that recoil stabilization back and some of that aiming stability that we just lost, only at the cost of movement speed. And then the rear grip, the last thing again, is going to be the stippled grip tape. I love this one. It's probably the best grip tape in the game, let's be honest, because of that sprint to fire speed and that ADS speed, only losing aiming stability. Now guys, I want to ask you, if there is a specific gun that you want me to try and make an overpowered class for, let me know down in the comments below. If you guys made it this far, might as well drop a like on this video. I didn't ask at the beginning, I'm learning my lessons. I'm going to be asking at the end of the video, so yeah, if you guys could do that, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here and you did enjoy this video, turn on those notifications, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick. and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.